any good economy has to be judged by the independence of its institutions. Some amount of tension is hardwired in the RBI government relationship, but things really went downhill. There was public name calling, there were pot shots taken at each other, and eventually an RBI governor had to resign. As somebody who headed that institution at one point in time, what was going through your mind when that was happening?
Look, the reality is, as you said, there's some constructive tension built into the relationship. And it is important for all sides to respect that constructive tension. And this means a constant process of dialogue, of backroom dialogue that takes place. Now, I think going forward, it is time that we sort of say that on occasion, this kind of dialogue can break down. And in that situation, how do we protect the relative independence of both parties? And we have to judge. Of course, the RBI works as an entity of the administration and works under the government, given the marching orders that the government has seen fit to enshrine in its mandate. But given that mandate, it should have the operational freedom to carry out that mandate. Now, earlier this was based on a kind of informal consensus. And the question we have to ask ourselves is it time to enshrine this in a much more formal consensus? Because otherwise it keeps getting eroded in one way or the other. And of course, with the wrong kinds of personalities at play, it could become problematic. We are becoming a middle-income economy. We have to ensure that our institutions are really middle-income institutions, which means we have to strengthen them where necessary.
Would you then recommend, will your policy prescription to that be a change in the RBI Act that talks about what happens during a breakdown in conversation? Because I think the one thing that a lot of people point out is, was this a mere personality clash? Because we've got a new incumbent now. It looks like the channels of communication are open. It's not as if he's written off an entire 3.6 lakh crore worth of RBI's money to the government. And still there seems to be some semblance of sanity.
Look, I wasn't in the middle of those discussions, so I don't know how much was personalities and how much was other stuff. And I do agree that we should not reform just based on specific personalities. But in a sense, the relationship between institutions should not come down to personalities. It shouldn't be up to the personalities to manage. As we become more developed, we have to manage the relationships so that it survives different personalities. And that is why I think formalizing some of the structures makes sense, so that they're not constantly eroded. For example, the position of the RBI governor, what level he or she occupies in the hierarchy, is completely left up to the spur of the moment. Some secretaries pretend that they're above the RBI governor, and the hierarchy keeps getting blurred. And I think it is time that we sort of made clear what that position is and why that position exists. And similarly for the other regulators, it's not just about the RBI.
I think experts have already put out there that RBI governor in a lot of ways is at par with the finance minister, because he's doing the monetary management and the other one is doing the fiscal management. Before I let you go,
well,
I'm not going
to... I would just say that I think it would be appropriate for the RBI governor to be below the finance minister, but typically above the bureaucracy, because it is a position that the bureaucracy attains after many years in the bureaucracy, and it is not appropriate that the RBI governor be dictated to by a secretary in the government.